Ladies and gentlemen, the Federal Reserve just dropped a bombshell and the stock market is loving it. We just ended up closing about 15 minutes ago. The Russell went up 1.5% on the day. The NASDAQ went up over 2%. The S&P went up 1% as the Dow broke even. We had the VIX down 8%. Unreal. As we had the metals up, gold and silver each up 1.1%. So we're going to talk about everything in this video very quickly. I'm going to try and make this video about a 10-12 minute video. Let's see if we can do it. So we're going to break down the Federal Reserve press conference, stocks, what's going on in the markets, plus more. So sit back, relax. Of course, hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. Take a sip of your coffee, guys. And don't forget to get up to 15 stocks from Moomoo and up to 12 stocks from Webull. All those free stocks are linked down below. And let's dive into the video. So look at this. Unbelievable move. And we were pretty much flat all across the, for the majority of the day leading up to about 2 p.m. on the East Coast. You guys can see markets were flat. And you guys saw that probably, well, I don't know if you did or not, but you should have watched my last video. I talked about it in my last video. We were pretty flat. And then once we got the word of a 25 basis point hike, and once we started seeing Powell chiming in, talking the talk, doing what he does best, the markets ended up exploding. And look at this. I mean, right at about 2:38 p.m. on the East Coast, that's when it really started to take off here on Triple Q. This was at $295. We ran all the way to $303. That is a move of 3% in less than an hour. I'm talking 58 minutes to be exact. That is freaking insane, right? And SPY in that same time period, let's pull it up, went from about, let's see here, right around 405, and it closed at 410, but it peaked at 413.60 on the day, which was a move in that hour window of over 2%. So let's talk a little bit about it, right? We had some questions, of course. That's the best part, the Q&A. I mean, the opening statement and all that stuff. Sure, it's good, but a lot of that was expected. I mean, we already knew we were going to get a 25 basis point hike, and Powell was asked a lot of questions, including questions about rate hikes, conditions for a pause in terms of the rates, right? You know, when are they going to cut? Things like that. And, you know, why not stop here? There was a question that I really want to talk about. Why not stop here on the rate hikes and see how it goes? That was a big question that was asked. So you guys probably are thinking to yourselves, all right, inflation's coming down a little bit. We're seeing the month over month come down. Still, I mean, you know, annualized is still a very high number, but it's come down a good amount from 10%, whatever it was. Now it's what, 6.5? I'm losing track of the numbers, guys. But whatever it is, it's come down. So you may be asking yourself, you know, are we going to get rate cuts rather? You know, are things going to start to slow down in terms of the hikes? And when Powell was asked about rate cuts, he essentially said he doesn't expect the Fed to cut rates this year, as some major strategists actually project. They think that there will be rate cuts at some point this year, but Powell is saying that nope, they're not going to do that, at least as of now. He said, quote, given our outlook, I don't see us cutting rates this year if our outlook comes true. If our outlook comes true. So there's always, there's always a possibility that inflation comes down a little bit faster than expected, which I don't think is going to happen, but who knows? Maybe it does. And there's a chance, if that scenario plays out, that they do end up cutting rates at some time in 2023. But he doesn't see that, you know, Jerome Powell, and I'm assuming a lot of people in the in the Federal Reserve, they don't see that either. So yeah, that's number one, right? Number two, in a response to a question from CNBC Steve Leisman, Chairman Jerome Powell said it is certainly possible that the Federal Reserve will keep its benchmark interest rate below 5%. That's one of the things here that's definitely shooting the markets up. The fact that he said that it's certainly possible they don't go over 5%, they keep it below 5%. And newsflash, guys, the range right now is 4.5 to 4.75. So essentially what that means is we might not get any more hikes, or maybe just 1/4 basis point hike to go, and then the rate hike cycle is done. So that's, I mean, you know, who knows if that's going to happen though, but that's kind of what the market is looking at. The market's loving the fact that we might not be getting more rate hikes. And, you know, the fact that Powell said it is certainly possible that the benchmark interest rate will stay below 5%. And below 5% doesn't mean exactly 5%. It means below 5%, which is where we are now. I mean, we're technically below 5%, 4.5, 4.75. So are we not going to get any more rate hikes, right? That is what the market's could be contemplating, at least in my opinion. Of course, I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments down below. And he got asked a question, why not stop here on the rate hikes and kind of see how it goes? And he said that, and the thing is, I mean, I feel like he was talking out of both sides of his mouth a little bit. There was a little bit of, I don't want to say contradicting points, but he said, why not stop here on the hikes and see how it goes? He said inflation's still running hot. There's still many moving variables in the economy that he's looking at. So at the end of the day, guys, a lot of this stuff is just unknown. I feel like he has to give an answer. But he's never going to be like 100% certain on this, 100% certain on that. There's always room for error. There's always room for a different scenario to play out, which makes sense because nothing is certain. We don't know what's going to happen in the economy. There's a quote that's like, if you spent, what's the quote, guys? If you spend 10 minutes trying to predict the economy or studying the economy, that's 10 minutes wasted or some crap like that. There's a quote out there. I read it recently, actually, and I started laughing because it's so true. I mean, you really don't know what's going to happen in the economy. And then he said when he got that question asked, he also said they are not far from the level of slowing inflation, which is good. You know, he also mentioned how disinflation, another reason why the market's loving it and ripping right now. He said disinflation is officially here. I'm pretty sure he said that. Maybe not in those exact words. Probably not. I don't think he said officially, but I think he said disinflation is most likely here. You know, and that's a big reason why the markets are running as well, because the markets are looking at the end here. They're like, are the hikes finally done? Is inflation finally starting to come down? That's what the market's pricing in. That's what the market is thinking right now. And you guys know, if we get hit with a curveball here, maybe in a couple months, we get a crazy inflation reading. Maybe we get evidence that inflation has not slowed down. Maybe it was just a little sudden drop before another spike. If we were to get that, things would turn bloody, of course. And, you know, the markets would probably get very, very ugly at that point. So he's carefully watching the economy. The Federal Reserve, I mean, it's their job to do that. So we're going to see how the minutes look in a couple weeks from now. We'll see how CPI looks, and we'll go from there. I mean, that's really all we can do. Again, we can't predict the future, but we can analyze data that comes out on the economy and kind of see how it's looking, if it's trending down, trending up, right? These are things that we're going to be able to look at. And he also got asked for conditions for a pause. And again, he pretty much just said they spend a lot of time looking at the economy, talking about the economy ahead. And quite frankly, he dodged that question. I'm not going to lie. You guys probably saw the press conference. He got asked that, conditions for a pause in terms of, you know, pausing the hikes. He dodged it completely. So out of one side of his mouth, he's not saying, you know, when he's going to pause rates or what would cause him to pause rates, the Fed to pause rates. And on the flip side, he's saying he could see it possible that rates don't go above 5%. So you guys get what I mean here. You got to take everything with a little bit of a grain of salt. But overall, those are the key points, at least in my opinion. Of course, we could talk more about this. There's a lot more that we could go into, but those are some key things. And the markets took that info and they freaking ran. They ran like crazy. I mean, you guys can see SPY ended up taking out. And if you've been watching my channel, guys, which you should be watching the channel if you like how I break down charts, if you like me talking or just stock market stuff in general, this is the best channel for you, at least in my opinion. We talk a little bit about everything. We talk about, you know, breaking news about the economy, events going on. We break down charts. We talk about trading. We talk about earnings. We talk about everything here. So if that's what you guys like, hit that subscribe button. If I deserve it, of course. I'm not one of these guys that's just begging for subscribers. Oh, please, please, please. And my content sucks. I hope my content doesn't suck, guys. I really do. But look, SPY broke out of 410, closed above 410, and now it's actually testing for, actually, did it not test 413? Yeah, it did. It literally hit 413.67 today. That's the intraday high, which if you guys look on the 4-hour, that is also the high from back in the middle of December. This is very good news. Also from back, well, it didn't break yet, so it's not great news yet, but the fact that we're testing it, we're running towards that level, very, very good. And you can see here, back in June, we peaked at about 415 on SPY. So if we take this point out, guys, that is where we could get even more upside. You know, that'd be a huge technical break for the bulls. And then from there, 430 could be next. So I just set my alert at $415 on SPY. And let me pull a triple Q up and see what's going on here. Triple Q. Oh, man, look at that. This thing took the highs out. Again, SPY didn't take the highs out yet from December. This did. This broke 300. We hit 303. You guys can see it on the, maybe if I just zoom in a bit here on the 4-hour, you'll see it. Yeah, we hit 300 roughly on the 13th of December. Notice we took that out, closed above it, and we hit intraday highs of 303. And actually now after the bell, we've popped up even more. I think there's a couple earnings reports that we're going to break down, but we're not going to talk about those in this video, guys. Actually, I'm going to make another video after this breaking down all the earnings. Literally, I'm going to end this video and then make another video. So I'll catch you guys in that one. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe, get all your free stocks linked down below. Check out the Patreon, all that good stuff linked down below. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.